write your song to include every word. I'll tuck you in, Jive Talkin, gonna have some fun till the Jive Time Chain Man comes. Sleep with one eye open, jiving your pillow tight, jive and talk, jiving good times, jive and talk. Let's stop singing and let's get to the news right now. Jeez. Exquisite. Absolutely exquisite, if you don't mind me saying that. We got a lot of stuff to get into here. My heavens to Betsy. What episode is this? 68? We've been doing it that long? My God. Congratulations to you and everyone out there that are paying attention to this. I appreciate it. I thank you so deeply. And let's get right into the news. If you, I guess I should tell you, if you want to get your comments read on the episodes, you go over to the YouTube video for the episode. You put your comments there. I've got them all lined up. I can prove it to you. I can click this thing right here, and it shows you that I've got all the comments lined up. But that's how you get on there. But you can listen and watch it on Spotify, and you can listen to it or watch it on YouTube. Kip Winger says James Hetfield called him to apologize for dartboard scene in Metallica's Nothing Else Matters video. Oh, I forgot about that. I did a Ticky Ticky Boom Boom TikTok about this, and I apologize in advance. I have a head cold. I woke up this morning, runny nose, itchy throat. But apparently, Lars Ulrich has not called him and said apologies for saying all the mean things about Winger back in the day. I totally forgot that they're actually in the Nothing Else Matters video and he's throwing darts at him. But let's get to the bottom of this and find out if Kip Winger's even slept a single night in the last 20 years. During an appearance on the last episode of Appetite for the latest episode, I was going to say, hit him on the last episode. The latest episode of Appetite for Distortion podcast. Winger frontman Kip Winger spoke about Metallica's Nothing Else Matters video, which is perhaps best remembered for the scene where Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich throws a dart at a poster of Kip. Asked if he ever found out why Lars did that, Kip responded as transcribed. Nah, man. Nah, man. You can see the video on Howard Stern where he's going, man, I threw darts at Kip, but it was nothing personal. He's never apologized, but Metallica frontman James Hetfield called me about 1.5 years ago and apologized for the incident. It's when he was going through the deadly sins, right? The alcohol 12-step, and they say you got to call every single person that you ever knew and that you've offended in some way, and so he was probably calling for that. James was really cool, man. I mean, he was cool as a cucumber. He was very cool. James is the kind of guy I can totally be friends with, and he was very sincere. It was like he just called to apologize and then blow me off. He's actually texted me a few times. We text every now and then. I don't think Lars would ever call me to apologize. He will now, because it'll make some kind of news little clip on the internet. I think everybody was just young kids, and they were thinking it was funny. Kip continued, to me, it is not funny to slag off a fellow musician. But who knows? They were just doing what they were doing. I don't know. I can't answer to that. Referencing the unprovoked ridicule on MTV's popular Beavis and Butthead show, which compounded with the change in musical climate of the mid-90s, ultimately led Winger to go on hiatus from 1994. Kip said, Beavis and Butthead was hysterical. It was really, really funny. I ended up on the wrong end of it. I think that it's just a gang mentality. Gang mentality people want to hide behind, and especially on the internet, they can hide behind their keyboard and go, that guy sucks. But if I was in the room with the guy, he'd be like, hey man, how's it going? He's not wrong there. He's not wrong there. Let's see. Circling back to the dartboard scene in Metallica's Nothing Else Matters video, Kip said, I just don't think it's a great practice to slag your fellow artists. Everybody has their opinion. There's bands that I don't like necessarily, but the point is that the older I get, the more I realize what goes into this stuff. So there isn't any band that I don't like where I can't appreciate what work they put into it, because I don't care who you are. If you've taken the time to get your song on a record and put it out there and made a video, you worked hard on that. I don't care if it's good or bad to me, whatever. It doesn't matter. You put a lot of work into that, and I can respect that on every level. I mean, that sounds right. Lars touched upon the Kip scene in Nothing Else Matters video during a 2020 appearance on the Howard Stern show. At the time, he said, in the Nothing Else Matters video, which was filmed at the studio while we were recording the Black Album, we had a dartboard. We'd get Cream magazine, Circus magazine. We'd take posters of the people who looked particularly obnoxious and put them on the, you look just like him. Wouldn't you say that by late and Justice for All into Nothing Else Matters, the Black Album, didn't Lars Ulrich have a striking look to Kip Winger? He had the long hair and the disheveled face. Come on now. There's a shot in the video of me throwing darts at Kip Winger. To this day, I apologize when it's brought up in interviews. It was nothing against Kip Winger personally. All right, well, it sounds like you apologized, Kip. Get over it. What bigger apology than being on Howard Stern and telling the story all again? And this just came out on the old alert. Did you hear about this? Def Leppard drummer Rick Allen assaulted outside a Fort Lauderdale hotel. He was outside having a ciggy, and some wackadoo attacked him. Well, we're going to get into this right now. According to TMZ, and it's you know it's proper. TMZ hits it up. They see some kind of smacking attack. According to TMZ, Def Leppard's Rick Allen was assaulted by a teenager outside the Four Seasons Hotel in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on Monday, March 13th. The 59-year-old drummer and his bandmates were in Florida to perform at a co-headlining show with Motley Crue, featuring John 5. At the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino over the weekend, and had gone outside the hotel to smoke a cigarette when he was violently attacked by a 19-year-old from Ohio. Police say the suspect then ran toward Allen at full speed, striking him and knocking him backward and slamming his head on the ground and causing injury. The police report, which was obtained by TMZ, says a woman came out of the hotel to try to help Allen, but the suspect also knocked her to the ground. The report said while she is on the ground, the defendant continues to batter her by striking her. She attempts to escape by running into the hotel. The defendant then grabs her by the hair and drags her out of the lobby and back onto the sidewalk. Where are the doormen? Where are the security staff? If someone that had a pair of dirty jeans went to walk in that hotel, they'd say, I don't think so, pal. Right? By her hair and drags her out of the lobby and back onto the sidewalk before fleeing the area. So he just grabbed her and says, no, I don't think you're going in for a restful evening. And then he ran off into the night. The suspect fled to another hotel nearby. I want to add, but this would be false news. This would be fake news if I said, and he dragged Joe Elliott from a different, The suspect fled to another hotel where he dragged Joe Elliott out by the hair. Give him a couple smackings. Maybe he's just doesn't like cigarettes. Maybe he's an old straight edger from the 90s. The suspect fled to the nearby hotel, but was ultimately arrested after alleged damage to numerous cars in the parking garage. Okay, he's not all there. The 19-year-old was booked for elder abuse. Is that what they're getting him on? I mean, Rick Allen and that elder abuse, battery, and criminal mischief. He was later released after posting bail. Maybe he was hopped up on them wackies, The kids like to do that, they like to do the, what do they call that? Errata, exotic ecstasy. They like doing that. Maybe he was just like, oh, you like it rough, don't you, Rick Allen? I mean, I don't know. We don't know. The suspect was arrested and taken to Broward County Jail on Tuesday after being charged with 2 counts of battery, 4 counts of criminal mischief, and abusing an elder or disabled adult, which you could, okay. He declined to comment. Approached by a Miami 7 News WSVN and was asked, "Are you a Def Leppard fan?" And there's a picture of him. It's got that big YouTube thing right there, but I don't think we have to listen to the story, do we? Allen, who lost his left arm in a car accident back in 1984, provided a sworn statement to police and told them that he wanted the suspect to be prosecuted. Hello, sir. My name is Rick Allen, and I'd like to press the fullest press charges to the fullest extent of the law. Thank you. Signed, Rick Allen. P.S. Here's some backstage passes to our next rock and roll concert. Please put him in jail forever. Lars Ulrich, look at this. Can you believe it? Two little Metallica stories. Your ears were burning when you heard Lars Ulrich's name. Well, here he is again, because I really need some help with this. I've never listened to the Lulu record, and I know people absolutely love it and people absolutely hate it. But Mr. Chubby Cheeks here, he's got them jabs. They got his mum says, "Oh, little chubs, get over here for some mayonnaise on your potatoes. Get over here, little chubs." Metallica's Lars Ulrich says Lulu album has aged extremely well. Blames ignorance for scathing reactions from fans. So he's basically saying, if you don't like this, you're an ignorant person that doesn't like good music. And what I can guess, and it'll probably be in this story, is that it was spoken word. And then it was them going, burr, 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 something not quite, something from the Black Album, but almost. Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich has once again defended Lulu, the band's controversial collaborative disc with Lou Reed, saying it has aged extremely well. Lulu polarized fans around the world and earned Metallica some of the most scathing reviews of its career. The effort featured the Velvet Underground frontman's spoken word poetry and lyrics combined with Metallica's musical assault for a jarring experience that didn't sound like anything Metallica had ever attempted before. In Reed's newly released posthumous book, The Art of the Straight Line, My Tai Chi, it's a very fancy name, out via Harper One, Lars said about Lulu, What the fuck is it about Lulu that it's got the kind of reaction? I can't quite figure it out. But years later, it's aged extremely well. It sounds like a motherfucker still. So I can't only put the reaction down to ignorance. It took our fans to a place I wish they would go more often. Never Neverland? You took them off to Never Neverland, too. Maybe it would be better time to release it now. What's going on outside in the world, the chaos. I don't know, man, but I'm very proud of this record. James Hetfield, Metallica frontman, and I would be figuring out ways through a piece of music, and then Lou would look over and go, "That's it. I'm not doing another fucking take of that. That's not the way that we usually work." But it was so beautiful and great. The whole thing was really beautiful and great. Less than 3 years ago, Metallica guitarist Kirk Hammett told Marine Independent Journal that he has always been a big supporter of Lulu. He's kind of more the hippie, right? He's like, "Man, even when all my friends are shaking their heads and looking at me going, 'Bro, what are you thinking?'
it was real accomplishment as far as I was concerned. We were there to help Lou Reed fulfill his vision, man. And I think we did that 100%. I mean, totally 100%. This was not a Metallica album, and it was not a Lou Reed record either, Broham. It was Lou Reed and Metallica together doing something completely different. It's not for everybody, but Junior Dad, I think, is one of the best things we've ever been associated with. Is that a song, Junior Dad? In terms of real art and literature and music coming together, that, to me, is a real accomplishment, man. Just as much as Ride the Freaking Lightning, bro. Asked what it's like playing guitar with Lou, Kirk, and Marine Independent, told Independent Journal, he's really, really cool rhythm guitar player. He had a good, solid rhythm plus to his playing. He was really not into lead guitar playing, which is totally awesome for me because I am so into guitar playing, solos and stuff like that. And he was really, really not into wah-wah. In fact, one time during rehearsal, I set the wah pedal and he just walked up to the microphone and said, no guitar solos, no wah-wah. And I was blown away. And it says he laughed right there. No more of that. So I need you to get down in the comments and tell me your thoughts and opinions on Lulu. Some guy on the TikTok that I did, boy, he was really just like, virginal ears to real talent will never understand this complicated and complex, beautiful creature that is the Lulu album. I'm like, oh boy, my head's going to explode. Here's a little Don Dokken for you. Are you a fan of Don Dokken? Check this out. We've seen Don recently, but this here says Don Dokken sounds fantastic on long-awaited new Dokken album. Now, will this be Don Dokken saying that he's sounding fantastic, or will this be other people saying that it sounds fantastic? In a new interview with Sam Wall, Dokken bassist Chris McCarville confirmed that the band's long-awaited follow-up to 2012's Broken Bones. Is that the album that's got the have a little bag of bones? Album is totally finished. The LP is tentatively due later this year via Silver Lining Music, the label owned by Thomas Jensen, one of the founders of Germany's Wacken Open Air Festival. How come he doesn't have Dokken on the Wacken? Why ain't you getting Dokken on the Wacken? Thomas Jensen, why don't you get Dokken on the Wacken? Regarding what Dokken fans can expect from the new album, Chris said, I have to tell you, is that what he says? I have to tell you is Don sounds fantastic on it. He sounds great. I talked to him on the phone about this a bunch of times, and it was like he redid his vocals 3 times. He didn't just phone it in. He really worked hard on it. And I can honestly say that as someone that, I liked Dokken growing up and stuff. I can't, what? What happened? And I can honestly say that. As someone that I liked Dokken growing up and stuff. I can't imagine any Dokken fan being disappointed by it. I really can't. Don really sounds good on it. Here's my problem that I have with this, and this is the bass player. But imagine Don. You know, when imagine what Don's thinking when everyone's going, "Oh my God, Don, you sound so good on this." You're like, "What gives?" Is there a problem? Are you essentially telling me that I stink all the rest of the time, but I sound really, really good on this? It's like dating someone where they go, God, you were so good in bed. You were so freaking good in bed. You start to go, I don't think I was very good in bed because you keep going on about it. You know, just one of those, Tarzan screams at the end of it would be fine, but you don't have to keep going on and telling me how fantastic I am. You see your kids at a play. Oh, God, you're the star, honey. You were the star of the play. My God, there's an Oscar for you.
You just then you start to go, well, maybe, if everyone's going, I'm so damn good, I sound so good on this, maybe I don't sound so good. IRL. As for why Dawkins' new LP has yet to an official release date despite having been completed for several months, Chris said, the way Don explained it to me is that the people at the record label have other things in the pipeline, and they have to release that first. So that's why it's taking a long time. It's called priority. They gotta, I don't know I don't know who they have on their label, but whoever the money maker is, that's who they're going with. In 2018, Don told the Classic Metal Show that his band's next album would be a classic-sounding Dokken record with straight-ahead, catchy choruses, cool riffs, burning guitar solos, and nice grooves. He added, The dilemma is to try to do that 30 years later without just ripping myself off and regurgitating old Dokken riffs. Yeah. So there you have that. One more quick question and story here before your comments. Could Ozzy Osbourne perform on a tour in a wheelchair? And I wanted to get into this because it sounds to me like Ozzy really wants to get the fuck out of the house. And he's willing to do whatever it means. If they got to roll him out on a stretcher, he wants to go out for 300 dates a year. Let's get into this. Could Ozzy Osbourne perform on tour in a wheelchair? According to The Sun, Ozzy Osbourne has vowed to return to the live stage even if he has to perform in a chair. The report comes a month after Osbourne released a statement in which he said that he would have to cancel his tour because of a spinal injury he suffered 4 years ago and other health problems. Ozzy has reportedly taken inspiration from Guns N' Roses singer Axl Rose, who performed on tour with a damaged foot on a throne. How about, if we're going to talk about him, how about we talk about Barney Greenway a little bit? Because he's now out on the road performing for the next 5 weeks with a broken leg, napalm death. And if we're going to bring him up, how about David Grohl from Foo Fighters? He has also sat in a throne and rocked. And Phil Collins, who completed Genesis' last tour while sitting on a chair. Yeah. A friend of Ozzy told The Sun, Ozzy is refusing to get up on his hope of getting on stage despite his statement last month. He has declared, I am gonna fucking get back on that stage. He still has an issue with his balance and can't stand up unaided for a long period of time. On his legs, those little sticks that are under your balls, that it frustrates him that doing a full 90-minute show fills with him some famous filled with his famous stage stomping and crowd interactive moves is off the table. But I was just thinking right there, I just paused. I was like, he could still do the buckets of water. But he is considering, doing gigs in a throne. Like what Axl did in 2016 with the Guns and Bleeding Bloody Roses. He was really impressed by that move. And he feels showed that audience do resonate with you. Oh, Jesus, man. My reading today has gone to shit. I think we're done here. I think we're done with that. My God, I am sorry I butchered that. What? Get down there. Of course he can get in a wheelchair and do it, right? As long as Sharon isn't out there with him. Hello, Ozzy. Do you need another water? I'll go get you a water. Right in the middle of the show. It's that time. Your comments right here on the old podcast. And it looks like we got some thick ones. We got Ryan Wade coming in. And it says, all this back and forth talk, members of Megadeth, old and new, and I'm still not interested in listening to the new music. Oh, well, I don't believe Yngwie, I like to call him Yngwie, but it's Yngwie for a second. He's an egotistical douche. Your impression of him sounds more like Father Guido Sarducci. You're showing your age there, pal. Father Guido Sarducci, my God. I'm so curious what a Vince Neil will look like and sound like in 2031. I'm guessing he will be lip-syncing to tracks while wheeling around in a remote-controlled recliner after losing both his feet to diabetes. I'm not laughing at the diabetes part. I'm laughing at the recliner, because if you haven't watched the new season that's on Amazon Prime of Kids in the Hall, you got to watch it. There's a one that's got a dude that likes to race a remote-controlled recliner. Still Ryan. Godsmack's popularity in America is like our love of yellow number 5, a high fructose corn syrup. They are absolutely terrible, yet we can't stop ourselves. Meanwhile, the rest of the world, who outlaw these chemicals and bad music, are laughing at us. We explode from obesity and disease, and our curious love of jock rock. My God, you're hitting them today. Now, Shane, you know we love you, right? Oh, shit, this is one of them compliment sandwiches where they give you a compliment, then they just tear you apart, and then they give you a compliment to end. We are here for you no matter what. You've been jumping over words and skipping entire lines at an alarming rate lately. You don't have to try to impress us with speed reading. Just take your time. I'm appreciating this. Use the cursor to your advantage. No judgment here. When I read, I end up going over the same sentence 3 or 4 times. That's what I do. As I realize I have no clue what I just read, and that's pretty much all I do. I'm scanning the words with my eyes and thinking of other things. Yes, can I tell you guys, I've been watching Narcos, and I've got the gist of most of it, but the reading, and then why do they put white lettering that you can't read anyways? It should be bright orange or something like that so you could read the damn words, because as soon as they get behind some kind of light background, you can't read it anyways. But I skip a lot of lines and all of that. Even in the show, I'm sitting there watching it going, I don't know what the hell just happened. And then they shoot someone in the head and you go, oh, that's what happened. I have missed the past 2 weeks of comments because I failed to make the deadline. I'm not even sure when the cutoff is. Not to break the fourth wall of the show, but I'm beginning to think you're not recording Jive Talkin episodes on Saturday morning just before posting. I don't know what that emoticon is. And then I got cry emoticon. And I'm such a doofus, I even typed my comments as a reply to Miss Althea's comment by mistake twice in the past week. The worst part of you not reading my comments last week is that the streak of Jason Bateman mentions was snapped. It's as bad as snapping your... see, there's that line thing. It's as bad as snapping your streak in the Wordle game and having to start over. Do you play Wordle too? I think my highest is 17. It was the... okay. Snapping your streak of Wordle, having to start over. It was good too. I had the idea to start a new updated version of the party game 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon to 6 Degrees of Jason Bateman. I'm on board. I think everyone in Hollywood could be connected to Jason at this point. Feel free to pull a Dave Mustaine and get the game into production without crediting me for the idea. Call back. Fantastic, my friend. Well done. All right, we got white bread coming in here. Paul is still my favorite Maiden singer. I love his voice on those early albums. I will say Bruce is the better frontman. I have seen a documentary on Maiden that Paul said he left music. He left because the music was getting boring. We need a film about him to clear everything up. Peace of Mind with Paul singing would have been sick. I mean, yeah, I would absolutely love to hear it. I'm a Bruce Dickinson fan. I love Paul Di'Anno. I don't even like it. It just sounds weird to me when Bruce Dickinson sings those songs that Paul Di'Anno sang. But sometimes I'm not a fan of Bruce Dickinson's attitude, but his vocals I do care for. But I agree. Hopefully they get all the footage for this Paul Di'Anno documentary, and we learned so many things from it. There's your heart, my friend. What do we got here? Oh, Mike Buchanan coming in. You are not wrong in saying that Nick Menza passed away. That happened back in 2016. He collapsed on stage during a show. Guess Yngwie hasn't gotten over Jeff leaving the band. But then again, Jeff's left some prominent bands like Journey. Well, maybe Jeff should work for bands that don't have guitarists that are difficult to work for. Still Mike Buchanan here. Is Motley Crue going to be the new Kiss? Interesting. We promise, guys, this is really the final tour. Paul Di'Anno, we promise, guys, that's the end of it. Period. Final tour. Yeah. 2031, they go, well, I think we've got one more. And Mike Buchanan's still here. Paul Di'Anno is still around. Yeah, he met up just like last year with, Steve Harris met him in some kind of damp, dark alley outside the multi-arena that they were playing at. And he says, all right, where the bleeding hell is he? Hey, it's good to see you, Paul. Take care and head off that way. Now, I'm heading the exact opposite way that you are. Talk about being in a band that became huge after he was asked to leave. That's got to hurt. Well, I was talking about that with the J.T. Thiert. What's his name? T.J. Thiert? That leaves Skid Row, and now Skid Row's back together. People are just shitting themselves over the new record, and they're going out for the European leg with Kiss. And old Z.P. Thiert's over there going, you son of a bitches. That's gotta hurt you a little bit. And now, your Jive Talkin' jokes of the week. What type of doctor is Dr. Pepper? He's a physician. A physician. Huh. I asked my wife which she liked better, my face or my body. She said, your sense of humor. I got arrested for stealing a complete set of encyclopedias. I said to the police, hang on, I can explain everything. I've lost some weight by wearing bread on my head. It's a new loaf hat. It's a new low hat diet I'm trying out. See, that's a word twister, because you don't want to say low fat, you want to say loaf hat diet I'm trying. Okay, this is character driven. He's got the wife and the husband here. So the wife says, do you want dinner? Sure. What are my choices? Yes and no. Aha. And finally, I got a text saying that I've won either 100 cash or tickets to an Elvis Presley tribute act. They said to press 1 for the money, and 2 for the show, and 3 to get around, and I can go, don't stand my blue. By God, you've done it again. And the always enjoyable Miss Althea coming in here. The dumbstruck fool says, Megadeth. This is the first topic at hand, people. I found it kind of odd that Mustaine defines what occurred with Ellefson as weird shit. Only because I have difficulty believing that he hasn't had a few questionable internet moments of his own. Maybe he just never went as far as, or he is just better at being discreet. Maybe he never went as far, or he's just better at being discreet. Yeah, you know Dave.
Hey, what are you doing over there, lady? Come on, let me show you something.
You know, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Let's keep going here. I don't know. This is still on the same topic, I do believe. I don't know, but it would be interesting to see what a deep dive into his computer, laptop, phone would reveal. It's all, you know what's in his Google search? Everything about Metallica. Everything that comes up. All Metallica, all 24 hours a day. Jeff Scott Soto, she brings in Jeff Scott Soto here. First of all, I never would have recognized him from that photo, not unless he was hanging around the local skateboard park. Secondly, I have 2 words for Malmsteen, and those are grow up. I honestly don't believe his side of the story. I really think he was going to punk out and stiff a venue full of fans just because someone he didn't want to see and didn't like was in the room. Shit. Like the simple, like this, shit. Let's see. Shit. Like the simply happens every day in life. I mean, what would have happened if he ran into JSS at the grocery store? Would he have just left his cart sitting in the middle of the aisle? That's a damn good question.
If you sell him groceries, I never shop here again. Never. Go look at his streaming numbers. Go look at it. 40,000 compared to my millions. If he buys one thing in the shop, I never come back.
You might be right about that. Let's see. Motley Crue. Why stop? They ask. Yeah. But you know what? John 5's bringing him back alive. I mean, they say, you know, and you did we talk about or was it in between weeks about the Mick Mars saying that he was totally unhappy with the stadium tour because of they all was using laptops. He says, I didn't want to use laptops. They were all using laptops. Interesting. Still Miss Althea, on to Godsmack. I was also surprised at the fact that they are not commercially successful overseas as they are here. I have only seen them live once, sometime in the early 2000s. I think they were supporting the Faceless album, and I will say that it was very entertaining show. Okay. Oh, she getting into Skyjack. She was talking about the 1970s movie she watched. Skyjacked is worth the watch for anyone who is into classic 70s disaster fare. Cast includes, Charlton Heston, a very young James Brolin, Rosie Greer. Is Rosie Greer, is she that Puerto Rican girl from White Men Can't Jump?
Come on, everybody, come on.
I can't remember her not. Leslie Uggams, I don't know who that is. Susan Day, a.k.a. Lori Partridge. Okay, I know who Susan Day is. Wasn't she also on L.A. Law? It's so bad, it's good. However, nothing will ever outdo the original Airport franchise. Huh. I mean, I love those, like any kind of apocalyptic or kind of, skyjacked. I'm down for all of that. Still, Miss Althea here, thanks, or maybe no thanks, for the visual of Tommy Lee flying the plane with his junk. However, the cockpit jokes write themselves. So, come on, man. Fantastic, as always. And I'm going to give that heart kaboom kabang. That's the way we do it. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Get out there. Slay the day. Go for a nice long walk. Turn off the TV and the music at some point and give yourself 5 minutes where you just sit and you think of nothing. And maybe it will do something for you. I don't know. Perhaps it will, perhaps it won't. Jeez. Jive with me, sweet honey, baby, honey child.
I love you, baby girl, I love you, baby honey child.
When you left me in the street, making love to myself. I couldn't hear Jive Talkin' 'cause you broke my phone and took my headphones, baby, but I'm naked in the road now.